The Spider-Man subreddit have completely lost their mind, something on the level that you can compare to the Batman Arkham subreddit. This image here has been floating around quite a bit in the Reddit. All right, we got here one DLC announcement is all it took for this subreddit to turn into Batman Arkham, pretty much. This person here says, I enjoy Spider-Man 2 and honestly don't mind the lack of DLC. Right here, reasons why Spider-Man 2 was Game of the Year worthy. Okay, we got, no, we just have one image. It was all a fake. I wiped, says one person. Then we get away, I wiped. What's happening? This guy here is asking, can I go to the bathroom? They need to stand on business for that. Why is the deep in the comments section? And okay, what are we doing, man? This person here says DLC loss didn't hurt that bad because it kind of already lost hope before it was announced. This person lost a gardening tool and it helped them come to terms with the fact that the DLC wasn't coming out for Marvel Spider-Man 2. Hero left you because there was no Spider-Man 2 DLC. Guys, he meant hope. He meant hope. And then look at this masterpiece. My take on the next suit, the Man. Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. What are your expectations for Green in Man 3? The Green. Oh, the amazing man. Oh, and look, we got the description of the villain here. Unlike most other foes, the true identity of the grotesque Green is still unknown. Someone here says, I enjoy Spider-Man 2 and honestly don't mind the lack of DLC. Look, hear me out. I enjoy Spider-Man 2 and I understand its flaws, and I will hold the game accountable to its flaws, dude. But in terms of being okay with the lack of DLC, y'all need to just hear me out. The number one complaint with most fans of the Insomniac Spider-Man games is that they're too short in gameplay length and story progression, and with how Spider-Man 2 has no DLC and so much room for story, this can lead to the eventual and most possible Spider-Man 3 to be the longest game ever based on how much story they need to cover. You know what? I kind of understand where this person is going. I still disagree. I would have liked DLC for the simple fact that some of those loose threads would have worked really well in an expansion, and I really don't want to be dealing with any symbiotes or doing anything like fighting Carnage in Marvel Spider-Man 3. I want it to be very much focused on Green Goblin and Doc Ock, them teaming up. I don't even want the anti-Venom suit. Again, I don't want anything symbiote in Spider-Man 3. We did it all in Spider-Man 2. Maybe we get a Venom game in the future that can kind of wrap that all in a neat little bow. And that's that. This person said that the game made me hate Miles Morales. I don't understand where some of these people are coming from, but I guess, again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And yeah, you know, in general, I don't really scroll the Spider-Man PS4 subreddit. They don't love me there, that's for sure. But for a little while, it really had become an echo chamber of negativity, or honestly, it'd become two different kinds of posts. One post is like, I hate every single aspect of this game. It's the worst game ever conceived. And then another post is like, why is every post in this sub about hating every aspect of this game and thinking it's the worst game ever conceived? You know, maybe sometimes I wanted to see a post about some cool photo mode shots that someone took, or maybe they thought there was a really interesting animation for one of the web swings in the game. Just discussion about the Spider-Man games instead of constantly somebody saying why it sucks or why it's the greatest thing ever. And this was the post that really bugged me. All right, they say here, I'm happy Insomniac are finally being criticized and I'm not sorry. For a long time, they mastered the art of doing the bare minimum and getting praised for it, and I'm glad that it's finally over. I truly hope they do better with the third game and Wolverine, because right now I'm waiting for reviews before buying, whereas after Spider-Man 1, I would have pre-ordered the next game ASAP. And then they cap off the post by saying, Insomniac, I love you, but seriously, you've got to do better. Even Starfield has more post-game support than Spider-Man 2. It's been a year and we don't have a weather changer yet. It's just pathetic. Comparing an RPG and the level of content in an RPG to a single-player, story-driven action adventure is bananas. And this line here is what I found the most funny. I'm waiting for the reviews before buying the next game. This person will be first in line when pre-orders go live for Marvel's Wolverine and Spider-Man 3. And saying they did the bare minimum. Since 2018, we've gotten Spider-Man PS4. We've gotten Spider-Man Miles Morales, the remaster for Spider-Man PS4, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Marvel Spider-Man 2. There isn't a AAA studio out there that's operating on the level that Insomniac is and releasing the amount of games as they are. And you can say that because they've released so many games in such a short period of time, that could have led to a reduced quality in Marvel Spider-Man 2's story. That is totally a fair argument to make. But the actual quality of the games, I feel like, as a whole, have never suffered for the amount of game releases. Spider-Man PS4, people hold in a high regard, and people did love Spider-Man Miles Morales. There certainly wasn't the level of discourse for Miles Morales as there is for Marvel Spider-Man 2. And Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is also phenomenal. I don't know a lot of people out there if you've played it or not. I highly recommend it. It is one of the best showcases of how good the visuals can look on the PS5. And yeah, okay, you got comments like this. For a long time, the Master of the Art of doing the bare minimum. They made one quote-unquote bad game. Jesus, you guys are so dramatic. Starfield has more content because it's an RPG. Do y'all think before speaking? Absolutely agree with what's being said here. And somebody else replied saying Spider-Man 2 is not a bad game either, which I'll be honest, I tend to agree with. There are things to criticize with the game, 1000%. You are well within your rights to say you didn't like the interpretation of Venom, okay? You are well within your rights to even think personally that it's a bad game. But after a 90 on Metacritic, after over 11 million copies sold, after high user scores, after it being nominated for Game of the Year, after it winning DICE Awards, you cannot in good faith look me in the eye and say that you're right, it's a bad game. That is just crazy. Yes, a game selling a ton of copies does not equal great game. And yes, a game just getting good review scores may not also equal a great game. But putting those metrics together alongside the other metrics that I mentioned, you now have a game that is as close to being objectively good as a piece of art could be. There is no such thing as objectivity in art in general. So long as there's one person out there that exists that says this really bad movie is good, that means that it's subjective to say it's bad. And this Spider-Man subreddit is the definition of a bubble. With all of the metrics that I just mentioned, you very easily could make the argument that the majority of people who played Spider-Man 2 thought it was a good game. And it's gotten to the point where a lot of people's complaints are not going to be heard because they're just saying the same things over and over, and they're just yelling. We are not trying to provide this criticism constructively. And posts like this are a perfect example. It is not in good faith to compare Spider-Man 2 to Starfield. It is not in good faith to say that they have mastered the art of doing the bare minimum for a long time. And this person here commented, they've been criticized since the release. They even received death threats. That is very much applicable to Marvel Spider-Man 2, but you can also apply it to Spider-Man 1. I was there, okay, when some of the bad apples in this community were yelling and screaming and grabbing their pitchforks because one suit wasn't in the game. Because that Raimi suit wasn't there day one, people went berserk. And I should have known 6 years ago, back in 2018, that some of those bad apples in this Spider-Man community, they are going to find any molehill they can and make an Everest-sized mountain out of it. So, Spider-Man subreddit, you stay insane over there, all right, guys? You go crazy. This is the best the Reddit has been in a very long time. It's good to see some variety in there that isn't just why you hate the game. Okay, hold on, one more. Do you think Uncle Aaron would have saved KSI's new song with his own beat? Listen, Uncle Aaron's beats, that sounds like a masterpiece when you compare it to KSI's new song. All right, with that said, sound off with your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about what's happening here in this subreddit? How do you feel about it? I want to hear what you guys have to say. I've been Caboose. I'll see you guys later.